Okay, so we started to record. So yeah, welcome in this pretty hard time for our societies. Hopefully from us everyone is safe and healthy. And yeah, let's start. Let's exchange our experience. Maybe at first we can begin with representing each other. So the name and the city. So I'm Kaspars, I'm from Liepāja, the chairman of the UBC, and maybe now then Jeppinen Outi could introduce himself.
Maybe I'll do so on our behalf. So I'm Jani Molis from the city of Helsinki, together with Outi. I'm the head of international affairs, and Outi is in my team, responsible for the Baltic area, particularly Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Tallinn.
Okay, great. Now then Torbjörn.
Yeah, hi everybody. My name is Torbjörn Lindström. I'm working as a development manager in Southwest Finland Emergency Services, and I'm also vice chair of this UBC Safe Cities Commission.
Thank you. Now, so we had Jani, I understood. Maria, please.
Hello everybody, my name is Maria Nykyri and I'm from Turku. I work as a communications officer at the Southwest Finland Emergency Services, so I'm in the same team with Torbjörn.
Kiitos. So I have in the list Antti is next one.
Okay, hello everybody. Antti Prepula from Finland, city of Lahti, security and risk manager.
Thank you. And then there's Rafał.
Hello, my name is Rafał Nagórski. I'm from Darłowo city in Poland, and I'm the plenipotentiary of the mayor of Darłowo.
Dziękujemy. And now.
Hello, my name is Rein Clark. I am a head of communal service and a member of the city crisis conference.
Aita. And so the agenda for today is just in general. We can start to share our experience or already maybe questions. For example, in our city, in our country, it's of course emergency state. For the people who are returning from outside our country, our borders are closed, and for the people who are returning from home from outside the country, today is the last day that they can return. After then there won't be organized any more these returnings. Probably the ministry, if they will have some kind of requests, then they will organize some more. But in general, today was the last day. Is the last day for people to return back home. Of course, the ones who were in our country, they can leave. But yeah, it depends on the times, how long. So that's shortly. Yeah, we organize our job in our municipality institutions that in a kind of part-time, working from home. Like the office is split half and half. That one half is working from home, one half is working in an office. And they change like every second day. They exchange the location places, so that there would be someone on spot. But at the same time, if there is some kind of health issue, then at least there will be the other half who could continue working. In general, or city, Liepaja is kind of pretty good with the virus because we don't have so many these sick people. It's like less than 10 officially by the statistics. I think even less than 5. We had 3 people. Yeah, we had 3 people. They were in the hospital, and we have closed all playgrounds, so all schools are closed. People are students and pupils are learning from home via internet. So in shortly, that's from in general. That's from my side at this moment. All then I can make the board open for someone else who would like to talk, please. So who would like to share?
Maybe Evelyn explain what happened in Tartu.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Briefly, in Estonia there is almost 600 positive cases, from which at the moment the 44 officially are from Tartu County, but we don't know exactly how many of them are from Tartu City. There are general rules from our government that all schools are closed or kindergartens are open, but very few kids are in kindergarten. Then all entertaining places are closed. There is official restriction that there are only 2 persons per one time allowed to be together, and if you're on the street or public places, at least 2 meters distance has to be held. What we have done in Tartu, all playgrounds and sports grounds and all sports facilities are closed until the end of the official emergency situation. From today, all shopping malls also closed, except if they have grocery stores or apothekas in there. What else? The situation is not that good. The number of positive cases is growing, and we do our best to handle the situation. That's it.
Yep. Thank you. Maybe Poland can as well introduce something.
Okay, how it looks in Poland. As you know, restrictions on residents were introduced quite quickly in Poland. At first, mass events were cancelled, bars, pubs and restaurants were closed. Then the Polish government closed the borders. A total ban on assemblies and several restrictions on movement were introduced also in our country. So we can only meet in 2 people groups. The number of infected people officially reported is much smaller in our country than in neighboring countries, for example, like in Germany. But on the other hand, residents pay attention to the very small number of tests carried out. Only about 2,500 tests per day are made in Poland. We've got official number only of infected people in whole Poland is now something about 1,500. In Darłowo, we don't have any there is no people who are infected. We've got only something about 100 people on home quarantine. This is for the people who come back to Poland from the other European countries. As far for the city itself, of course, we had to comply with government's decisions. So we have closed schools, all events and events are cancelled. Only grocery stores and pharmacies are open. Our office, city office, also works completely differently. We accept applicants only in urgent situations and by appointment. We have divided our team in 2-3 teams, so that only one is physically in the city hall and the other 2 work from home. This is to be a safety valve in case the coronavirus is confirmed by any of the office staff. Only one team will be then quarantined, not all employees of our city. We had to designate and prepare a place for possible quarantine for residents. We are constantly in touch with the Voivodeship Crisis Management Center. We monitor the number of people quarantined in our city. We only have police to check the people are obeying the restrictions. Our municipal guard can only support the police, but calls on residents through a megaphone to comply with the government recommendations. The discipline of the inhabitants is at a very high level. So this is the short story from Darłowo, Poland.
Thank you very much. And maybe you could hear from Finland something then.
Okay.
Yes. Hello, this is Outi Jäppinen speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, great. Sorry, my colleague Jani was forced to exit the meeting because he's actually part of our Corona task force, and there were some urgent things he needs to tackle on, but I will try to cover from Helsinki's behalf, and then I hope that colleagues from Lahti and Turku will then tell from their behalf. Nationally in Finland, the situation is worsening at the moment. Officially tested infected people, it's around 1,000, and we have 5 victims.
Is it okay if I share a picture?
Oh yes, of course, Antti. If you have prepared something, please do.
No, I don't. I haven't prepared, but we have something what I should show for you at this moment.
Okay.
Okay, it's not that picture. Sorry, wait a moment. Okay, now you should see the situation in Finland at this moment. Do you see that picture of Finland?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You can Outi.
Yes, good. So you can see that the darkest area, it's the Helsinki-Uusimaa region, and the biggest number of infections, they are here and in the city of Helsinki. And today, currently, the government of Finland is putting restrictions on moving around in Finland, so that the Helsinki-Uusimaa region will be restricted area. Nobody is able to exit and nobody is able to enter the Helsinki-Uusimaa region unless they have really good justification for doing that. So that is what is going on now. All our schools are closed, except that teaching for those children whose parents work for critical professions are able to go to school. but all the other teaching is now being done remotely. All the kindergartens are still open, but all the parents are being asked to take their kids at home, and this is pretty much the case. All the sports and park and all leisure facilities are closed. In Finland, the shops are still open, also other shops than just grocery stores or pharmacy stores. But there will be restrictions on restaurants and bars and cafes during the weekend. So the situation is now quite severe, and our government is trying to make new restrictions to prevent the situation. What comes to the city of Helsinki, as we are kind of in the peak of the infections, we have established a internal special corona coordination leadership. They meet daily to make decisions related to the corona response. So all our divisions or our departments of the city take part in this corona coordination group. And also our mayor has been almost daily giving out different decisions that this leadership group has done. This group means that we, as a city, we try to proactively implement these different national regulations. For example, giving the city commercial tenants 3 months forgiveness for their rents, helping out the tenants not to pay for the rent of their premises. Because they have to close down their business, closing restaurants owned by the city, or ensuring that the employees are able to work unimpeded by the national regulations, and taking care that employees are able to work even now the Helsinki-Uusimaa region will be restricted. So these are kind of the practical things that the city of Helsinki is now taking on board during the coronavirus situation. So that was shortly from my behalf.
Thank you. And then Maria wanted to say something too.
Firstly, I want to ask Antti that who is updating this web page you are showing us?
Oh, our colleagues from city of Vantaa. You can show that, you can show that address top of that map.
Okay, right. I'm just asking, I don't have much to add, except I know the amount of patients in the Southwest Finland, which is 49 infections and 2 people in hospital at the moment. It seems it's a different amount on this web page, and my number is from the health district, and it's also in the news here. But maybe Torbjörn has more to contribute on our behalf.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think the overall picture of the situation in Finland was presented quite good here in the previous speech. So I don't think I have anything to add to that. Maybe a few words from the fire service point of view. This is not like a call out for us. It's more for the social and healthcare. But of course, our role is to support the other competent authorities in their work. and of course take care of our own service, so that we can provide the service for the people in our area. And that's why we have closed down all our actions in the fire stations, except the firefighters and the paramedics are the only people. Everybody else is working from home, from their home offices, using the Teams and other technical equipment to get the work done. And also we have put much power into the communication side in our service. Not that we are the authority that gives the instructions on how to behave in a case like this, but we support the other authorities, and of course we also try to make our safety communication more visible during these times, because a lot of people are staying in their homes, and a lot of people are going to the summer houses and things like that. So it will, and also the bushfire season has started very early this year, so we have to be prepared for that as well. Maybe this is enough for now, if you don't have any questions.
Thank you. Maybe Antti has something to add.
Yeah, only a few things for you. First off is drugs. Our borders are closed, so how should I say? People has problems to give them their drugs, so there will be problems here in Finland. They are going to steal or whatever those drugs.
I'm sorry, do you mean medicine drugs or illegal drugs?
Illegal, yeah.
Okay.
Heroin or whatever. Okay, and other problem will be mental problems, or I think so. Not now, but maybe after a few months after these people who are working in medical centers, doctors, etc. They might have some kind of problems, or I think so. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Do you have some problems with fake news in your countries regarding the virus, or it's not a big deal?
I think that in Finland people can read quite carefully those news, so such of fake news aren't so problem here in Finland, but they might be. But I think that in Finland those aren't problem as in other countries.
Yeah, however, I've been monitoring social media especially, and we can see there are some rumors and also disinformation moving around. So also the authorities in Finland have reminded people that this is a possibility, and only to trust legal authorities and only confirmed knowledge. And we try to do that also in our channels to remind people that they should be careful on which websites or social media channels they trust.
Poland or Estonia?
In Estonia, we had one case where we know that was directed fake news about closing our capital, but this shut down very quickly. And there was one unofficial social media web page, and it was also closed down. And at the moment, our government and health board, they are regularly informing people that only official channels are the channels. You should follow the instructions and all the information.
Yeah, and yeah, thank you. Poland?
In Poland, maybe it was a little problem, but only at the beginning of this situation, and only in social media. The Polish government has a very good information politic, and preparing official press conferences, which are transmitted in Polish televisions, and it's official kind of channel to show prepare and to show what Polish government do in that situation. So I don't think it's a very big problem. Maybe only in some kind of social media. That's all.
Thank you. And I've seen that Sustainable Cities Commission has joined us too from Turku. Maybe you want to add something or ask something, Bjorn or Jutta.
Well, I have been here just for a couple of minutes, so Jutta has been following the discussion, so I leave it to Jutta this time.
I have to say, Björn, that I haven't been here for much longer than you. It's been very interesting, and I've actually noticed that, Kaspers, you are recording this session, so is it possible to listen in? Because I actually entered quite late as well, so is it possible to then hear all what has been discussed so far?
Yeah, of course. I plan to distribute it through the UBC Secretariat.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and there were one member from Latvia who wanted to join, but he couldn't because as well he had some kind of other meeting, and he sent me questions. He wanted to know. I understood from Helsinki that in Finland the cities can kind of make their own, maybe not regulations, but restrictions about the virus fight against the virus. So how far can you go as a city in your country? So maybe with Finland we can start. How far we can bend or the rules or the national legislation.
Yes, this is Helsinki speaking. Hello. Well, to be more precise, I would emphasize that the city of Helsinki is really closely following all the regulations that our government is giving, and I'm sure that the situation is similar for all other cities too. So we do everything that is in the framework of the legislation and regulations that we are able to do. So what comes to our, for example, the economic development actions, we try to help the tenants of the city, and we try to I would say that we don't have so much freedom. And for example, closing down the Helsinki-Uusimaa region, it's the state level decision. It's not made by the mayor of Helsinki. So perhaps other cities can also comment on their behalf, but I think that we are trying to just regulate and do everything that is possible within the frameworks of those regulations to ease up the effects and implications of this coronavirus.
Kaspers.
Yep.
Can I add something?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because I don't know if you have in your countries, but in Finland we have this legislation called Emergency Powers Act, and and this is the first time actually that has been taken in use since the Second World War. So and this act gives the government and the competent authorities more like powers to fulfill and take care of their duties. So and it's it means that you that all the big decisions are taken on the governmental level, and so the government takes the decisions to the parliament, and then so there is not that much for the cities to decide on after that anymore. It's just more or less to do the best of the situation.
Okay, because like in our case, in our city, the local government, the city government, the municipality, they decided to have a little bit more stricter rules. For example, to closing all the playgrounds in the city, because then the kids can transmit the disease to the elderly or to the parents, because the virus can be active for 72 hours on these kind of plastic and steel things if they're not cleaned very often. So that's at least that was our power the city used, that they made some rules even stricter than the government required at the beginning. So how it's in Estonia or Poland?
In Poland, we do not use much restrictions because these government restrictions are quite strong. So we, as a municipality of Dorłowo, we care to implement these restrictions to our inhabitants. There is now there is now a discussion on how to help local entrepreneurs, local businessmen. It's about local taxes. It's only some of these taxes they pay to local budget, and we can think how we can help these people. But if we talk about global restrictions, these global restrictions are quite strong, so we have to only care about this, how to implement these big government restrictions. Thank you.
In
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, we have quite strong restrictions. I mean, this, 2 people in public places at one time and 2-meter distance. But however, we decided to close down all public playgrounds, sports grounds, sports facilities, because people still gathered in groups. And we decided that we do what we can as a municipality to do stronger restrictions than government. I hope it helps.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I think in earlier stages, maybe this question was more important than now, because when the situation is getting worse, the government takes already more strict regulations. So for the cities, there's not much to do. That could be the outcome from that now. And then in general, how much the government does involve the cities in this emergency state? Do they give some extra funding or something like that, or sending some extra help to the cities which have more worse situation?
They are in Estonian government. They are doing this. how you say this, economical packages to help especially smaller entrepreneurs. For extra help, they try to help to get masks and gloves and all other protective things. I haven't heard that any municipality have got some financial aid so far. So it will, if they do it, then it will be later. But I haven't heard so far for that kind of help or aid from government.
Thank you. At least in Latvia, the government has promised that they will help to cover some expenses like extra hours for emergency services, local or state level. Now they decided on 50% raise for the health services included into the fight against this pandemic. So at least the government has made some kind of promises to support the municipalities after then. So how it's in Finland or Poland?
Okay, from Helsinki's behalf, I want to thank Torbjörn for a very good comment for my previous speech. I mean that it was exactly what was needed to be said, that we have this special legislation now in the country. The government of Finland has now given a really substantial subsidy package, but it is targeted at the private sector and companies. So, and of course the municipal sector, we have been given out the message that this is going to be really expensive for us as well, and we would really need support from the government side. And they have said that they will do something in the future, but first we have to take care of our companies. That is my knowledge. Perhaps colleagues can comment more.
Torbjörn, can you tell us about the National Emergency Supply Agency? I think that is pretty special for Finland.
Yeah, that's another thing that we have had for many years, the National Emergency Supply Agency. And this is also for the first time ever that they have opened their doors in order to distribute, for example, protective suits and things like that. So this is a storage for hard times, like we now have. But that's more or less for the hospitals and for the people working in the emergency care like ambulances and first responders. But they distribute protective materials. And from a fire and rescue point of view, there's also a possibility that to get some funding afterwards from the Minister of the Interior to take care of for example, staff costs. If you have to do much overtime, rental costs. If you have to rent for example, a new fire station or something like that, personal protection and disinfection equipment. So there is several possibilities to get funding, but as was said here before, so the big things are to keep the companies in a way or another.
Okay, in Poland, the government is currently preparing an assistance package for entrepreneurs. There is talk about of a 3 months cancellation of social security contributions, for example. There is also talk about money from European Union funds for fighting with coronavirus. But there is no talk of money for local governments. We are waiting for the development of the situation and we are wondering how to help our local companies. But for now, we don't have any promises from the government about money for the local authorities. So we are waiting what decisions will be talk about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and in Latvia today as well, our government is supporting the entrepreneurs, for example, who are not working during this outbreak because of the they are public services which are closed, so they are paying this so-called stoppage salaries, so that if the employees don't work, so they are getting the salaries from the government. And for the enterprises, they are calculating it, and somehow on this return, if it's 70% less than the regular, or it was up, if it was instead of 100%, it was 70%, so they could apply for this kind of support. And of course, for inhabitants, this tax for homes, which is paid yearly, so the payment dates are set back now a little bit because of that. So and every day there are some new rules, and then as well, like in Finland, we have this emergency action plan, which is kind of this now main rule in general. So does someone has some kind of questions to others? So please could ask. There are no questions to our peers, or maybe something to add in general, or some thoughts. If not, then probably we could then finish today, or maybe someone really has something to say.
Maybe I've got a question. How do you think, maybe, how long do you think these restrictions will apply in your countries or in whole world? What do you think about this situation? How long do you think these restrictions will apply?
Yeah, for example, in Latvia, this emergency state is till the Easter, so it should be till the 14th of April. But already some few days ago, they began to talk that, of course, the emergency state will be prolonged because only now it will. Because now the plans is that the ill people number could start to raise even faster, because at the moment we have only 280 in our country. So from the Baltic states we have the less number, but you never know is it the real number, because 2 days ago there was already 5 new cases of illness where they are transmitted inside the country. So as it could be that now only it will start. So it's not from the ones who returned from the different countries. So it's already transmitted in inland. So I think it could be pretty long time. It's really hard to set deadlines. I don't know about the other countries, but at least we are looking like that there's no time limit at this moment.
In Poland, official restrictions, we have information that will be provided till Easter, so the same situation is in your country. But we don't know how long in global this pandemic will rise number of ill people. So this is very hard to predict. in which kind of situation we can meet, for example, next month.
Yeah, and even we haven't had any deaths because of the coronavirus in our country. So yeah, that's I think pretty different from other countries. Maybe someone else wants to add something about this term in their countries of the emergency state.
Hello. In Helsinki or in Finland, I think the regulations and restrictions are now being timelined to the end of April, a little bit over the Easter holidays, but the kind of specialists, experts' estimations state that the peak of the disease will not be over by that. More or less, it will go to the June, July. So it will be a long-term fight here now. So we are kind of pretty much prepared that the schools will be kind of will not be opened this spring anymore. So the end of May, when our schools should end, most probably they will not open their doors before that. But of course we will follow the situation, but it's highly likely that the peak of the disease will come to Finland a little bit later than it's now in the central part of Europe. So that is what our specialists are having their estimations based on.
Estonia, what is your deadline for this emergency state? Evelyn or Rain?
At the moment, the deadline is 1st of May, but all restrictions are government is controlling them every second week. Are they valid or according to the current situation, or we need more stronger restrictions? But yeah, at the moment the emergency situation is until 1st of May, and there is no indication that they want to end it earlier.
Okay, thank you. Some other questions, thoughts? If there is no, then I think thank you very much for joining our meeting. Let's stay safe. Let's stay healthy. Let's stay home in general. And yeah, and then this audio will be available in the UBC homepage, and then it will be probably shared through the emails to the contact persons. And if you feel some kind of questions, urgent questions, then please feel free, ask now or then via email. We can try to share them. So thank you very much. And if there is no questions.
Kaspers, I have one.
Yeah.
Maybe you said it already, but are we planning to have a short meeting like this in 2-3 weeks or something? Again, to get a short update, like just for half an hour.
Of course, we can do that. We haven't discussed it yet, but I think that's a great idea. So, how do you think, 2 or 3 weeks? I think in 3 weeks we have an Easter, so maybe it could be in after the Easter or before. What's the idea?
Maybe after would be good.
Maybe after, yeah.
Yeah, so it could be maybe then 16th or 17th of April. Maybe we can try to set the date already now, if you're okay with that.
Okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
But yeah, there will be this UBC board meeting video conference during that time. I'm just checking which date, and we can maybe set it in the other day. So it's the UBC meeting online is on 17th. So maybe we can meet on 16th.
Okay.
The same time.
16th of April.
Same time is okay for you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, then I will again send out the email to the UBC just a few days before the meeting so that everyone could join. Maybe some who hadn't participated today. So if there's maybe something else to people to add. So if not, then thank you very much. I hope it was at least something helpful for you all. And see you then in 16th of April.
Yep, thank you and have a nice weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay healthy, everybody. Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.